Welcome to This Day with Bj Arnett. I hope you all are ready to hear a great testimony, a great story from a young woman who's just rather comfortable in her skin now. She is Nysi Kilgore, and she is the author of God Is. Now, every story has a backstory, and what we're here to talk about today with Nysi is the backstory. Nysi, I don't want to cry. This woman did my makeup. I feel fabulous.
You look great.
Thank you so much. But if you make me cry, I'm going to get you.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'll try my best.
Okay.
Try my best.
I know there's a tremendous testimony behind this book because in reading a little bit of a synopsis of what this is all about, you are 20 years old now, but when you started your journey to college, there were some challenges.
Yeah.
And I think most American young people go through a challenge when they are entering the college arena. What did you walk through that you didn't expect? And I want you to approach it from this direction. These are the things that I lived through at home. This was how my life was at home. But this is what I saw when I got to college.
Yeah. Well, I was homeschooled for a very long time. And then for the last 2 years of my high school experience, I was in a private school. But my mom was my college advisor, and my dad was my Bible teacher.
Wow.
And my brother and sister were also in the same school. So, like, I went from homeschool and just brought home to school. And it was a Christian school, and I kind of was just grounded there. I was in leadership positions there. I led an our worship group. I was the student vice president, student vice president. So I was in a lot of leadership positions. And so going to a Christian college, I thought, hey, we're just going to keep going and keep doing the same thing.
It's gonna all work out like gravy.
You know, so it's gonna run smooth. And then everyone hyped me up. You know, college is the best 4 years of your life. You know, it's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. And then I got there and I had culture shock and I was homesick and I dealt with anxiety and depression, which was just things that I...
Had you never been outside of this beautiful unit called family?
Never. I didn't know who Nysi was outside of the five of us, you know? My whole identity was woven into who I was in my family unit, which is beautiful and it's great and I love it. But at the same time, I didn't know who I was on my own. And so here I am on my own and I'm like, for the first time ever in my life. I think I went to like a 2-week camp the summer before my senior year at that particular school. So it was like my first time ever really away. And so I didn't know what anxiety and depression were. And so here I am locked up in my room alone. My roommate's like, hey, like, let's go out. And I'm like, yeah, no, let's not go out. I just want to stay in.
So you didn't feel a connection with the roommate, the college roommate at all?
Not initially, not that way. My mom has always taught me that we have a lot of associates, but we don't have a lot of friends. And
there you
so,
go.
you know, like,
there you go.
So she came into the thing like, we're going to be sisters and you're going to be in my wedding and you're going to be my child's godmother. And I was like, I don't know you.
I don't know you. Yeah.
I don't know you. And so since I was having a hard time even connecting at the school, period, it made me have a hard time connecting with her. And I did want to try to be her friend and try to get to know her and try to learn her, but I had my own things going on internally that I didn't know how to even express. And so that caused friction in between us, which caused problems with me and her, where she started spreading rumors about me on the campus. And she would go, we had like a suite style, so it was like a room and then a bathroom and then another room. And so she would go to the suite and she would talk to them about me. And then they started having problems with me. So what was kind of just a small problem in the beginning, it mushroomed, it grew and it grew and it became something much bigger. I even had friends come to me and they're like, so what's going on with you and your roommate? I heard her talking about you in the cafeteria. I was like, whoa.
Oh, goodness.
Oh no, like, I don't even, how do you even know? Like, she said your name. So, you know, it caused a lot of problems. And I think I went in with this false expectation into college, expecting it to kind of be like it was at home, expecting it, because, you know, when you go, I tell students all the time when they visit our school, I was like, it looks really good right now because they're paying you. They want you to really come here.
This is like the hype moment.
Yes, you know. Everyone talks about, like, you go to the cafeteria on tour days because that's when the food is best, that's when the teachers are nicest, like, you know, tour days are the best days. No pressure at all. Tour days are the best days. But I told them, I said, reality is going to hit when you get here. And I just wasn't prepared for reality to hit when I got there. And so when it hit me, it knocked me all the way down.
Wow.
Because all I knew was that there's supposed to be mountaintops, and no one told me about valleys that I was going to experience. And so I felt like an oddball out or like a loner.
And you didn't find any... You didn't see this happening to other college students at the time? Or could you even see enough outside of the pain that you were feeling to even notice someone else's?
Because I masked my own pain very well,
Oh, good.
I think we all masked our pain well. I think my generation does that a lot. We like to be vulnerable on our own terms. I'll be vulnerable with you the way I want to be vulnerable with you, or I'll show you enough of my face for you to think that it's not a mask, but there actually is a mask on the other side of it, you know what I'm saying? And so I think what we all did, we all masked our pain because we all thought we were alone, because no one had talked to us about it. And so I don't want to seem like weird or odd, because when I talked back to my suite mates and my roommates, we all were going through the same thing. No one just wanted to talk about it.
Well, what is that? Because, you know, there's your millennial generation, and then there's my generation who are baby boomers. We would talk about everything. What we didn't like in the political world, what we didn't like. A lot of it is what we didn't like, what we didn't like, what we didn't. And we talk about everything. But the core things, we also masked.
Yeah.
The core things that were happening in us. What do you think that is, and why it occurs in the first place?
I think, the enemy's job is to cause division, and so I think one of his main tools and his main tactic is to lie to us. And the number one lie he tells all of us is that we are alone. Yeah. We're alone, and you're going through this alone, and no one understands, and no one gets it. And I think he said that lie starts in like puberty, when you hit like 12 and 13. My mom doesn't understand me, my dad doesn't understand me, no one understands me but my friends, and they barely understand me. No one gets it. Yeah. No one gets it. Right. And so I think we get into this no one gets it mindset, and we go through life, well, since no one gets it, I have to make it seem like I'm okay. Because media tells me this is how it's supposed to look, and y'all told me this is how it's supposed to look, but I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I look that way. So I need to mask myself. Even like with eating disorders and that mass epidemic that's going on right now, it's because we've been taught that it's supposed to look a certain way.
Fit in a certain box.
Yes, everything has a box, and it's supposed to, if you don't check off this, if you're not 25 and married, if you're not 27 with the kid, if you're not 40 and with a good career, then something's wrong with you. We've been taught that if you don't check off the boxes, then there's something wrong with you. And so I'm not checking off the boxes, so I'm gonna just mask myself.
So you're in college, which should be this explosive experience, especially in a Christian college. You should be like, this is it. And you find yourself wanting to pull the covers over your head and stay in a corner.
Yeah, I did.
How did you get out?
Well, first of all, I actually got vulnerable and told someone, like, this is what's happening with me. My school, a lot of schools have, and I wish more college students would utilize it. We had free counseling. Yes. And they have them on lots of campuses, but there's such a stigma around counseling that no one actually wants to go, because it's causing you to step out of that box and say something's wrong with me, or something's not all the way right. And so I had to find strength enough to know that there was nothing wrong with me because I had a problem. I was actually strong. I was not weak because I had a problem. I was strong because I was confronting the problem and changing the problem.
Good job.
And so I went to counseling, and that helped a tremendous amount. It helped a lot. I got plugged in. I found my group. I found my niche. And so I came out of it that way, and they helped me, and they pulled me out. But honestly, between my parents and counseling and finding community, and then the Lord was just such an instrumental tool in pulling me out of that. I kind of found myself on the up and up eventually, and I found myself sitting, and I was like, okay, God,
what is
why?
this?
All right, like, I've done it, I've come out on the other side of it, but I don't see the point of it. And I really felt the Lord told me, I brought you through this, and I brought you on the other side of it because I knew I could trust you to go back and talk about it and tell the story.
And this is how we arrived to this book. God is Lessons Learned About God in College. Yes. Statistics say that when a young person leaves their parents and goes off to college, that it is the most susceptible, they are the most susceptible to all of the things of the world. Yes. So if you were raised in a Christian home and you go to any college, Christian or otherwise, your personal space, your personal beliefs are challenged. And this is where young people tend to put to the side the things that they were raised with. What did you find in addressing that thought with your book?
I was sitting in a meeting. I was a resident chaplain at my school, so kind of like an RA, but for emotional things and emotional reasons, we could just talk. And we were having a meeting with all the chaplains, and we sat down, and she told us that the stage we were in life was almost like unpacking a box of ornaments. that had been there for a long time. And she said, but it's almost like your parents gave you that box of ornaments and it's your first time having your own Christmas tree that you get to decorate on your own. On your own. Any way you want to decorate it. And so if you don't want that big ornament or you don't want that star on top of the tree, you get to choose. But you get to see, okay, why did mom use that star and not this star? And so I got to say, okay, my mom told me that God was a provider, but do I actually believe that for myself? How do I know that for myself? Am I going to keep this ornament or am I going to throw it out?
So did you test the word?
Oh yeah, I did.
Good.
I did. I was like, well, because I went on a full scholarship to school, but my last semester, because I graduated in December, my scholarships kind of got a little funky. And so they were telling me, well, you have like X amount of dollars to pay. And I was like, I don't have X amount of dollars to give you. And so I was like, God, I don't know how I'm going to graduate. And I don't know how I'm going to make it out of this. Like, you brought me here and you brought me through a door, and I don't believe that God brings you through doors and then abandons you once you get beyond the threshold. And so I said, I've seen you do it for my mom, I've seen you do it for my dad, but now I need you to do it for me. And God did in like amazing, crazy ways. They actually told me, like, we're not supposed to do this, but we're going to just tweak the system because we just feel like we need to do this. It's like, wow. Cool.
Because Daddy God is working on my behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, you know? And so, no, I had to test it. I think when I went through those hard things and I went through all those lessons and I went through all those trials, what it really was I was taking those ornaments out of my box figuring out, like, okay, God, are you really good? Okay, God, are you really sovereign? Okay, God, do you really care? And so I had to test and I had to see. And I think we are susceptible to a lot.
Yeah.
You get to choose. The choice is yours, but it's up to you to test and see. You can't just throw the whole box away. Don't just push the box into the back of the room. You get to make a choice. Like, this can either make you or break you. This time can either develop you into all you're supposed to be, or you can just stay stagnant and stay the same person and go backwards almost. The choice is yours. Yeah, statistics say it, but you get to make the decision. At the end of the day, it's you.
It's you.
You get to make that choice.
As you began to put pen to paper and write this book and walk back through the process of, hey, this is what I came through. Didn't you find it lethargic? Didn't you find it a method in order for you to purge all of the things that were painful, but also the relief of, but this is how it ends? Yeah,
you know, I told my mom, I don't want people to think that I just had the worst college experience ever because I'm just telling them all my problems, you know, but like at the end, my last chapter is God is good. Because regardless of what I went through, regardless of what I experienced, I think there was healing in even writing this book and like just getting it all out there and telling it all. Like, I withheld nothing. Like, I put it all in there. I think there was a lot of relief in that. But at the end of even me writing, I cried writing that last chapter because I was like, through it all, like, I was sustained. I'm still whole. Like, I still graduated on time, and I graduated with honors, and I graduated as the youngest in my class, you know? So, like, crazy things, like, God is still good. His promises don't change. Like, trials come, life is filled with mountaintops and valleys, but God is still good. So regardless of what you experience, maybe it might not be what happened in my book. It might be something totally different what you experienced, but God is still good, and he is still sovereign no matter the situation.
And he didn't leave you nor forsaken you ever, and he is a gentleman. So everything that he says to you is true. It's just that, are you walking in his truth at that moment? What a great revelation. What an awesome book to be able to pen. It is called God Lessons I Learned About God in College. Yes. It is very, very cool to meet you.
Nice Miss Kilgore. You too.
And you didn't make me cry, so I think I like you.
Wow, I'm glad.
Yeah,
I
am
you,
too,
so
because I was like, okay, I'm scared because I don't know what she's going to say. But there's something to be said for the journey, but also the completion of what God's called you to do in that particular season of your life. Your job was to go to school. You did it, and you did it well, and you were triumphant. If you are going through something where you feel like you can't do it alone, you don't have to. Reach out to someone. Someone's always there. We love you. God bless you.